Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. And today is a rather bad day, possibly for the Madame of Montecito. And we're going to be looking at two stories that might be irking her somewhat. And the first of those is the fact that the Princess of Wales has been shortlisted by Time magazine for Person of the Year 2024. And Time goes on to tell us about the awful year that Catherine has had, her surgery, her cancer diagnosis, the chemo that she's been through, and of course all the conspiracy theories. They mention those, the conspiracy theories about her whereabouts, which forced her to come out of, not hiding, but to come out in public and talk about her cancer diagnosis, very personal stuff that she had to reveal. And it's interesting that Time has decided, in the wake of all of these very difficult things that she's been through, to nominate her for Person of the Year. And of course, all of that speculation about the Princess of Wales' whereabouts was really stirred up by the squaddies themselves, and it has backfired spectacularly if it means that Catherine is now held in higher regard at the end of the year than she was at the beginning of the year. Oh, the irony. Now, of course, Harry and Meghan have appeared on the cover of Time magazine. The infamous hairdresser shot where it looked like Harry had just finished giving her a sort of cut and a wave, a blow dry, whatever, and she was all smirking in the center of the photo. That was way back in September of 2021, where the Parkles were on the Time 100 influencer list. It was a list that wasn't ranked, so they could have been number 99 or 100 on the list, but they got the cover. A lot of people speculate that they paid to get that Time magazine cover, and the little photo shoot inside it was one of their more ludicrous photo shoots, and that's saying quite a lot, and of course that's my opinion. And it looked like it might have been, with hindsight, a birthday present for Harry in 2021, because that all happened in September of 2021, and those innocent days we didn't quite realize how much money the Parkles were prepared to blow on buying themselves awards and such. So, Tarot of Curious Creatures on the tarot table. I, of course, want to know today how this news is going down in Montecito. Parkles possibly burned through quite a big amount of money to get themselves on that nothing burger of a list, and then be mocked mercilessly for the hairdresser photo. Catherine, who has had a horrendous year, thanks in no small part to squaddies, is now, without having to lobby for it or pay any money, is out of just goodness shortlisted, and maybe she'll even win. I'm sure she doesn't care. We're going to ask if she cares. We're going to ask how badly or how Meghan feels about this and her true feelings about Catherine, and whether Meghan perhaps now regrets her own rather negative vibe towards Catherine through the year that might just have filtered through to the squaddies. We're not saying that Meghan encouraged the squaddies to go after the Princess of Wales. Never would I say such a thing. But perhaps her own feelings were picked up by them, and they thought they would do her a favour and spread all that "Where's Kate" stuff, and spread some of those very salacious rumours. And of course now, look what's happened. It all backfired. So that's where we're heading today. Got lots of shuffling to do apparently. Haven't used these cards for a while, but we are ready to go. And a little 5-card reading. And of course, it is tarot for fun and entertainment. It is all my opinion. It is all speculation. And of course, I just read energy, and there is a disclaimer in the box below. Can Catherine be bothered about finding herself shortlisted like this? How does Meghan feel? How does she truly feel? And any regret for what's going on? We've got the Four of Pentacles in reverse as our underlying energy. And that's a card of control when it's upright, losing control when it's in the reverse. And of course, way back in September of 2021, the Parkles were in control of everything. They had just exited They were triumphant in their Netflix deal and their Spotify deal and their everything else. Time magazine, most influential people in the world, top 100. And now look where they are 3 years later. It's been quite a fall, in my opinion. So it's represented by this Four of Pentacles in reverse, this loss of control. Things are now looking quite precarious for the Parkles, who thought that they had the world at their feet just 3 years ago. Of course, many things have happened since, and some of them quite unexpected for the Parkles. So let's see the situation that we are dealing with. The Time magazine. Oh, there's the Wheel of Fortune. That's a very apt energy for the situation that we're dealing with, because a wheel spins and sometimes you're up and sometimes you're down. It's about Lady Luck. It's about timing. And I've been talking about timing now with this Four of Pentacles in reverse, timing and the twists and turns of fate. And 3 years ago, the Parkles were up and the Windsors were down. And now you could say that the Windsors are up and the Wingers are down. Certainly, it is interesting how that wheel has turned and lifted Catherine and brought Meghan down. That's my opinion, of course, but you just have to look at newspaper headlines or critiques of the Polo series to know what I mean. And I'm looking at the Queen of Wands over here. She's the next underlying energy. She's showing herself to me down but not out, I'm guessing, from that vibe. So let's put her there just because. Why not? So Catherine, the Princess of Wales, does this interest her? How does she feel? She must obviously know that she's been shortlisted by Time. Is she happy? Is she indifferent? Is she what's her energy around this? And I've got the Knight of Wands in reverse. She really doesn't care. The Knight of Wands would be about the attention. It's interesting, it's got a red dress. The Knight of Wands is a female energy in this tarot. It's wearing that famous red dress. We've seen that red dress twice on a fire sign woman who would be the Knight of Wands in this energy, and it's in reverse. It's quite a show-offy energy, the Knight of Wands, volatile and hot-headed, kind of impetuous energy, but definitely in reverse. It's the same energy for me as the Wheel of Fortune turning and bringing that Knight of Wands down into the reverse energy and elevating Catherine. I think that what is really on her mind, and of course I am speculating, hopefully she's a higher energy than I am, and Schadenfreude isn't her thing, but I think that there is something in this card that's a bit of a ha-ha. That effortlessly and without trying she's been shortlisted, whereas that old Knight of Wands in that red dress tried very hard, in fact desperately, to get on the cover of Time magazine, allegedly, and is now in a bit of a free fall, despite wearing that red dress at every opportunity to put herself in the spotlight. So I think there is something going on there. I didn't expect it, I have to say. I thought she'd be quite unbothered by it, but there is a little bit, I won't say it's the dominant energy. For me, as an energy reader, there is a bit of a ha-ha, a little bit in there. But for the rest of it, it's don't want to be in the limelight, don't really seek this, haven't sought it, would really have liked to spend the year quietly healing behind the scenes and not have to thrust herself into the public eye to explain her whereabouts and what was actually going on with her. Very private, really would have preferred to keep out of the limelight, and this Time cover doesn't really help if everyone is reminded of everything that happened to her. So two things going on there. So Meghan, how did Meghan feel when she saw the news? I'm sure she is very aware of this thing. We got the Knight of Swords. That's interesting. We've got two knights in this reading, and they are doing cards. They're action cards, the knights. The Knight of Swords is a clapback. It's very swift. It's very strategic. It's shrewd. and calculating in its energy, and it will retaliate in a very quick way. So immediately, when she saw this news, she was writing, planning, strategizing on the phone, banging away on her Hotmail account, whatever. Being a bit snarky there, of course. Rachel at Hotmail is a lot of speculated to be her own personal PR effort, and she's busy with a comeback, something that she can do to basically erase this time thing from our consciousness by putting Meghan out there in a more dominant way. We might actually get a big news release very soon. Maybe it's more jam, maybe it's the rosé wine that we haven't sampled yet. We've had the dog biscuits and the jam. The polo thing is out. A bit of a calamity. We're going to look at that next. But there is something she's got up her sleeve, or she's scrambling to find something to release to spin the cycle, the news cycle, back in her favor, because I think personally that's all she understands. She only understands PR and who's getting a top place in the news cycle. It doesn't even matter what the news is about, as long as you dominate. And Fluffy has come to agree with me and remind me it's food time for Fluffy. Anyway, let's see what Meghan really thinks of the Princess of Wales right now, because there's quite a lot of hate sloshing around in certain dark places online. And so what does she really feel about the Princess of Wales? That was about the time shortlist. Truly, in her heart of hearts, what does she feel? 3 of Cups, and it's in reverse. It's the friendship card, and it's in reverse. It still riles her that they didn't become besties. She's still got that sort of tween view of friends and holding hands and arms around each other. We've seen it in endless nauseating photos, especially when the jam was dropped, when they were all, she and her friends were all sort of draped over each other, celebrating whatever they were celebrating. It's quite strange behavior for me personally. It's not the way my friends interact, certainly not. And it's not the way anyone I know interacts with their friends. It's just not the way we behave here, and I doubt very much that it's the way most people behave, most female friends behave around the world. But there is this notion that they should have been besties, and they weren't. And that all goes back to that fateful day when the Princess of Wales refused to take Meghan shopping with her, possibly because she suspected that Backward might just happen to be in the high street wherever, Kensington, or I don't know, just coincidentally when Meghan and Catherine were going shopping, arm in arm, skipping down Kensington High Street. So that still grinds her, my opinion. And does Meghan regret perhaps some of the hostility that went out towards the Princess of Wales this year, which seems to have encouraged Time magazine to shortlist her as Person of the Year 2024? I mean, that did backfire. How does Meghan feel about that, perhaps? And we've got the Hermit. And the Hermit is interesting because it's, well, first of all, a Harry energy. I don't think it's got much to do with Harry. Hopefully Harry was not complicit in any of this, had no idea any of this was going on. I will say that. Giving him the benefit of the doubt, really, I don't know why I am, quite honestly. But the Hermit is, of course, guidance, counsel, wise counsel, your own inner guidance and your own true path, that you reflect and you take yourself away and you ponder things. She's possibly, and I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt here as well, she's possibly having a bit of a think, because the Hermit is a bit of a think card. And the Hermit, she might be sitting by herself, all on her lonesome, or lone. She was lone. In her poem that she wrote for the bench, someone was lone. So she's sitting all lone at home, wherever home is, and pondering the wisdom of what happened. all those months ago when the Princess of Wales disappeared. And I do think that in that hermit energy there is some feeling of, that really didn't work out the way it was supposed to, because of course things that were supposed to be going on, all the trashy talk around those dark corners of social media, were about all kinds of nasty things going on between William and Catherine that turned out to be complete BS, I will say. Those letters and really did backfire. I do think she feels it. I, of course, don't think that the ego is going to be crushed for long. The clapback is coming. Clearly, Catherine, just a tiny bit of haha. That wheel turns. That wheel sure turns. Meghan losing control, still being reminded, she still thinks she's queen and still going to win overall. It's all about that, though. The Three of Cups in reverse. That kind of girly, we should have been besties. And instead of that, you were cold and you didn't hug me and you didn't welcome me in and take me shopping and share your lip gloss. And for that, I will never forgive you. That's your reading. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.